Okay, in this video we're checking out the new BetaFPV 0802 19,500 kV motors, and as everyone should know, that these are pretty similar to the Happymodel ones I see on the drone here on the left. And these here, I just want to show you the label on here. These motors actually had the 17,500 kV motors on this drone here earlier. And the difference between the 17,500 kV and the 19,500 kV is pretty substantial. You're going to get a lot more power on the 19,500 kV, obviously, spinning the prop a lot faster, but you get a shorter flight time. The 17,500 kV is still quite flyable, especially if you're a beginner. You're going to get a longer flight time. It's still very fast, even indoors. But I think that for those of you guys looking for more performance, you definitely want to go for the 19,500 kV over the 17,500 kV. Now, the difference between the BetaFPV model at 19,500 kV versus the Happymodel at 19,000 kV, not a whole lot of difference. Just a touch more top end on the 19,500 kV. I did try it on both the 3-bladed and the 4-bladed gem fan props. You get substantially lower flight times on the 4-bladed versus 3-bladed, roughly 30 seconds. If you're going all out on this motor, on the 4-bladed, I was getting under 2 minutes on a 251S, and on the Happymodel, maybe like flying similarly on the 4-bladed, another 15 seconds, not a whole lot more flight time. I would recommend going with the 3-bladed to get a little bit more flight time. You still have pretty good control. You don't have nearly as much control in tight turns as you would with the 4-bladed. So those are obviously going from 3-bladed to 4-bladed. That's going to make an obvious difference there. If you're a pretty good pilot, you're going to feel the difference. It's not a huge difference, but yeah, it's noticeable. You'll notice it there in the tight turns, but you can still pilot fine with the 3-bladed and get a little bit longer flight time on the 3-bladed versus the 4-bladed. So overall, the difference between the two motors is not a whole lot. Similar size, similar kV. Just getting a little bit more power in the BetaFPV versus the Happymodel, and a little bit less flight time. But the performance is pretty similar. Now the construction seems pretty similar too, in terms of the windings, magnets, all that. The notching of the motors, also pretty similar. Now I don't know about whether or not the prop shaft is going to be any stronger. It's the same 1mm prop shaft that's on the Happymodel motor as well. I've heard complaints of people saying that the prop shaft on here breaks pretty easily. I haven't experienced that myself. Crashed these little guys a ton. I suppose if you put these 0802 motors on something bigger, like a 65mm prop like some people are doing, there's going to be more leverage there, so that is going to put more stress on the prop shaft, and of course that might break. In terms of whether the BetaFPV prop shaft is any stronger than the Happymodel prop shaft, I don't know that, because I haven't even broken any of the ones from Happymodel, and I of course haven't broken any of these yet either. So as far as I can tell, they look pretty similar, but on these little 31mm props, pretty hard to break them. This is not a whole lot of leverage, plus you have these ducts in the way protecting the motors. I've crashed these guys a ton, and a fair amount of this one too, indoors. No problems, no bent prop shafts, nothing like that. And the props on these seem to go a little bit easier on the BetaFPV prop shaft versus the Happymodel, at least for these jump fans. However, that could also mean that the props could fly off a little bit easier as well, so something to keep in mind. Anyway, so yeah, so bottom line is not a whole lot of difference. Even the price, I believe, is the same for a set of 4 motors, although you might be able to find discounts here or there depending upon where you look. I know that you can get some of the Happymodel motors discounted at certain stores because that motor's been out a lot longer. That might be the case later on down the road for the BetaFPV, but I guess the retail price for of them is the same for either company. So it's really going to come down to whether or not you prefer BetaFPV versus Happymodel as a company, as a brand, etc. What kind of store you want to deal with, that kind of thing, and availability. So In terms of the motor being any worse than the Happymodel motor, I'd say no. I'd say it's not any worse, but I would say it's not all that much better. If you want that extra 500 kV, then yeah, of course you're going to have to choose the BetaFPV motor. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Go ahead and show you some more flight footage. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.